Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of That's Corner. I'm your host, Valerie Bropleh. You're having corner conversation with Val. Welcome back to my episode for those who are returning, and welcome for those who are new. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it blesses you. I hope my story inspires you to not take charge of your life, but allow God to take charge of your life. So it's been a while. This is kind of a spontaneous episode that God instructed me to make. But at the same time, I've been wanting to make a video about this last season I was in. Correction, this season that I'm in. But it just never felt right, or I never felt ready, or I never really got that, I guess, tug from God to release what He was depositing in me. Because so many times, for me personally, I get so excited when God like tells me something, or I learn something new, or whatever season I am in, and God is speaking. I'm like, I just want to like just spit it out. Like God said this. He said this and that. He's doing this and that. But for me, in this season, I didn't want to speak ahead of myself. I didn't want to speak too early, but I also didn't want to speak too late, if that makes sense. I just wanted to speak what God said, speak. And on Saturday, when I was reading in the book of Joshua, and I was talking about the Jericho walls, and there was this part of it where Joshua told the Israelites not to speak or shout until he says so, because that's when God was going to instruct them in order for like the walls to come down. So for some reason that line hit my spirit so hard, and it just like, and I was like, I started praying like, God, I don't want to speak until you have instructed me, until whatever it is you're depositing in my spirit is ready to be spoken or revealed. Yeah. So after I said that, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna get excited. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just gonna keep going through the season. And then Sunday happened. My church, we does this like, we do 6 a.m. prayer. Everyone come and pray at 6 a.m. And I hadn't been going for a while. One, I just could not wake up. I'm having some like health issues with like sleeping and not sleeping tiredness. So I never could make it on time, and it was always frustrating for me because I loved it. When I did go. But so finally this Sunday I pushed myself. It took everything in me to wake up that early, but I did it. And I just started like on my way to church, because I have a long drive, so I have time until I get to church. So I also pray on the drive and stuff. So I was just praying, asking God also to just reveal some things I still need work on. I still need things to be, I guess, developing me in a sense. So on Sunday when I got to church, it was a great Sunday, first of all. Just amazing. But he revealed more things in me that I still needed healing with. Every time I feel like I'm healed or whatever it is, God's like, no, not yet. I still have more work to do in you. And fast forward, we doing prayer, I got confirmation just by what the person who was praying said, and what I had prayed for. And then even in the word and stuff like that. And I just felt just this tug and this pull, but also like peace to just speak and make this episode. First I thought it was just gonna be an Instagram post, like a quick story, but then God's like, no, I need you to speak up more about this last season you were in. And I was like, okay. Now I'm not gonna lie, I felt peace to make the video, but I was also nervous because this is sort of different for me, because this was one of the hardest seasons I've ever had to go through. Um, you can also talk about the title of this episode, but it was also the most eye opening, most strengthening. It was just a different season of my life. I didn't never expect it to be in it, and something I've never experienced with God on one on one. Like, I've gone through other hard seasons, spiritual warfare, A, B, and C, a lot, but this was the first season that I didn't pray for God to take the pain away. I prayed for Him to get me through it, through the storm in a sense. And it was hard. It was painful. There were nights where night days I was uncertain if this pain I was feeling would ever go away. But within that, God was with me and he was comforting me. And it was different because also it revealed things about myself that I didn't even know A, needed to work on, B, had in me, and some of it wasn't pretty. But yeah, so as hard as this season has been, it's been very needed. And I'm very grateful for it, I'll say. So that's a little backstory on what was this episode about. It might be long, I'm not sure, we'll see. So I just want to start from the beginning because it's been the longest 4 months of my life, it feels like. But this whole season was kind of not a season I put myself in, if that makes sense. It's not something I wanted or went into willingly. It was something I was forced into, if that makes sense. So the beginning of the year, I was grieving my cousin. And two, I think a part of me, not think, I was distracting myself with everything under the sun to just keep my mind going. And I was burned out. Even last year, honestly, towards the end of last year, I was feeling burnt out, but I didn't know how to stop. I did not know. And the following me well into the new year, and I just kept going, going. I'm the type of person, you need something, I'm there. You need this, you need that, I am there. And I've been burned out, and I've known I was burned out before. But the thing with me in the past, again, this is past. I don't know when to stop or allow myself to stop because, or if it's like, even with serving or helping people, it's like, I always thought that was who I am. That was what I needed to do. That was my purpose in life. So if I stop, who am I? So my identity was found in serving and helping people. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with that. But when that becomes your sole focus and you put God on the back burner, then it's not healthy. Because for me, as much as I was serving them, as much as I was helping people, as much as I was doing on my job, doing all through that, mind you, again, I was burnt out and I didn't even really know it or knew how to get myself out of it. So I was just kept going. But it took my pastor actually speaking to me and also some leaders speaking to me and correcting and bringing correction to some things they witnessed. And for disclosure, at the time, granted, no one likes correction. It's not fun. It's not pretty. It's not easy to hear. Um, but the things that were saying to me, I didn't see it at the time. I'm like, okay, you guys are saying these things, but like I don't think I'm doing that or I don't see those traits. And at first um I saw it as punishment. I saw it as an attack on my character. And I felt like I felt like it sounded like they were saying I wasn't good enough. Oh, I was this and that. And I was just wrapped up in that pain and that focus of that because there was so much happening during that time. And in a later episode, if and when I come back, you guys will probably hear it. But so yeah, so some leaders spoke to me about correction. Then my pastor had a talk with me, and just was honest with me, like, hey, like you're burned out, and you need to step down, and you need to focus on you and what Val's wants, and this and that. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Like, I don't know how to give up things. I don't know how to honestly be still. I didn't know how to do that. So, well, again, if you're about to speak to me and ask you to do something, you don't have to do that. But so yeah, so I that was like the starting point. It's like now I'm not doing all these things. My For some reason my job load sort of got lighter. And it was like it was all one after it was like a domino effect. And I was like, now I have all this free time. What the heck am I gonna do all this time? And that's when I took that time. One first I isolated myself because I was just engulfed in this pain, and it felt like I get my emotion was telling me that after the meeting, I felt like people was like whispering about me, people was talking about me. So I was like, I felt like okay, everyone know this big thing that happened, and now no one want to speak to you, no one wants to talk to you. So after all that happened, I also isolated myself. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. How do I start? In my head, it's like whenever I feel attacked or whenever I feel I get feelings. These are not truth, but these are how I was feeling. I just retreat. It's like a safety. It's a safety blanket. It's a safety. It's a safety thing for me. So it's preventing myself from getting hurt. Although I am hurt, it's just not. I didn't add a layer, but it was a safe. It's a safety mechanism that I've used my whole life, where I would just leave before someone hurts me. I'm gonna just leave and prevent myself from that happening. So I retreated myself from friends and everything. Even my family, I wasn't really spending time with them either. But because of that, God also used it for my good. I feel like I was always meant to go through a season where God was pruning me one on one, but because I did it the wrong way in the beginning, He still used it for His good. So He's like, okay, since I was isolated. I isolated myself from everyone, everything. I had truly no one but God in that moment. So I had to go to God. I had to seek Him. I had to read my Bible more because now I had no other excuse. Like, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm tired. I was doing nothing. So within that, when I finally okay, sat down, okay, God, this is what it is. This is what I'm feeling. Let's do this. Reveal to me these things that I need to work on. And it's crazy because I always say this prayer and I regret it every time I say it. Reveal the parts of me that are not of you. And a lot of times it's never looks like God telling you audibly these are things you need to work on A, B, and C. It takes people revealing those ugly things about you. And um correction is not to hurt you, but to push you. And it's a beneficial and it's to benefit you also. So it's like I was reminded that I prayed that prayer. So when people was coming to me about these things they saw in me that wasn't of God or wasn't a fruit of God, I forgot that I prayed for God to reveal those things to me. It was weird that God reminded me of that. So it's like once that happened, I was like, oh, like once I was reminded of the prayer I said, it's like, oh, so now you really do have to work on those things, those like achiness of you, like things in my heart that I didn't even know was there, but was protruding its way through. And I'm the type of person where I wear my emotions all over not just my face, all over my body. If I'm feeling something, if I'm feeling some type of way, you're gonna like not feel it, but sense it through my body. It's something I'm working on. Yeah. But yeah, so within that season, it was, I want to say I actually started working on myself, my mind, and it's like May, middle of May, and God revealed, and I tell you, God revealed so much to me, all at not all at once, but in pieces, and it broke me. I'm not gonna lie to you, it broke me. I cried myself to sleep so many nights. I cry at work. I would like leave to go to the bathroom and cry. Because one of the main focus that God revealed to me was I have extreme abandonment issues. Which okay, I'm gonna explain it how I explained it in the beginning. To someone, it was like this tree. This I have this big tree, and the tree as a whole, because you know there's apple trees, orange trees, and whatnot, and there's different or like fruit trees or whatever. So my this big tree is abandonment, but on different like I guess they call stems were different issues that but as a whole the tree was abandonment. There were on that tree was perfection, rejection, my mindset, like having a toxic mindset. So it's like every time I thought I broke a branch off, I never actually got to the root of that tree. You know, it's like I was cutting one thing, but there's something else to grow until I actually looked at what it was, and that was abandoned, like feeling abandoned. Um, which is also kind of like rejection, feeling like no one loves you and stuff like that. So when I realized where that stemmed from, and it stemmed from my parents, I'm gonna try to say this when I cry because every time I've said this, I've cried. So if I don't, that's the Holy Spirit. So a lot of people don't know, but for me, I was born. I have two parents with disability, a mental disability. So I didn't grow up traditional way. So I never really got to know my parents like most people would. And growing up, I never comprehended that I didn't have like traditional parents. But I always knew I was different from my cousins because they all had like their mom and dad, which were my aunt and uncle. And when it became apparent when I got older, especially when I came to America, and I would hear kids talking about their mom and dad. And the older I got, I actually like got to understand, and that's when the idea of missing my mother or wanting a mother was hitting me like a lot. But in my head, I felt like I didn't have a right to be mad at the idea that I didn't have traditional parents. Not that I don't have parents, but I don't have traditional parents to grow up with. So I always felt a sense of guilt every time I would feel try to get angry. And at one point I got angry at God. And throughout my depression seasons, that was mostly the root of my depression, was always feeling alone, feeling like I didn't have someone to hug me or someone to tell me they love me. Because again, I was raised African, so showing affection was non-existent. Some parents I've involved, yes, love that. But back in the day, that wasn't a thing. Like I the only I'll say this, granted, my grandma is my whole world. She's my everything. She's my life. I would jump in for the run a moving train for that woman. But she didn't start saying like affirming I that's saying that I love you until I started it, until I mentioned out and I would tell her I love you or something like that. But she would always tell me like be safe, and this and that, but like the actual I love you was very rare. Um, but so like I would see it and I would watch kids doing it. And there were seasons where I knew that was my issue, like the abandonment, but the pain was so intense that I always asked God to take it away or shorten it. I never actually wanted to go through it and truly understand why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling and having and not being mad at myself, feeling guilty for being mad that I was born in the situation I was born. Because I have a right to grieve. I have a right to grieve the fact that I will never experience a mother's love. I won't. I don't know. I'll feel I will experience something like it. But when kids or like when girls are like, oh, I tell my mom everything, she's my best friend. I would never have that. Not even my grandma, I can't tell her everything because she doesn't understand there's a huge generational gap. So that abandonment, all of that rejection, it will trickle into my relationship, my friendships. And because I was so afraid of being left alone, I always attach myself to people very quickly and tightly. Like if I found someone that I feel like I can relate to, will show me that they love me, I'm gonna hold on tight for dear life. And if there's an issue, I'm not gonna address it head on. I would just want to squash it really quick. Or there were times I just didn't care and just looked at the friendship, but you know, levels of things. But yeah, so within that, guys, like I have an on unhealthy attachment to people and places because of that fear. Because I'm longing for something or someone that only God can fill. So whenever there is someone who could be like a female who could be a mother figure into my life, who can pour into me, speak life into me, I always held on to that for the hopes they will love me like their child. Granted, they have the actual child, and that there's no correlation, but I always held on to very tight to mother figures. And a part of me always go to talk to adults. One is I feel like I get along with adults better than people my own age. That's just me personally. But also the reason I also go to adults is that's who that's who I talk to. I have my life. That's who I related to because I was raised by great great aunts who were really older. So and I went everywhere they went. So I had to talk to these adults. I had to find something to connect with. And honestly, I just love older people. You get so much tea from them and what the other the mess they made. I'm like, you messy. Oh, you was messy. But yeah, so but also it's like I just who I gravitated to, and I was trying to find a parental love in older people that I didn't get in my own family, if that makes sense. But still, I just like talking to older people also. I don't think that's gonna go away, honestly. But it's gonna be a healthier form of how I attach myself or how I seek advice or how I go to people and why I go to people. But yeah, so and I'm in therapy. That is something I never thought I would say. I recommended therapy to everybody who would listen. And I never thought I was like, I don't need therapy. I know what my issue is. I can solve it myself. I'm gonna be a therapist one day. So why do I need a therapist? You need a therapist because in therapy, they're working on my mental state and something we've been working on. It's taking me back to my childhood and realizing some things were not healthy. Most kids shouldn't go through that. So reliving my childhood, I think I blacked it out. But I've been reliving my childhood and things that I went through, and that has been a lot. But it just showed me how much I really needed God. And when all that was revealed to me, that whole abandonment, that whole tree, and all the little branches, I bawled. I'm like, I know that God, but why do I keep feeling the same way time after time, season after season? I'm still dealing with this emptiness in my chest, this need to love people, this need to be loved. Like I just wanted someone to love me like a mother or a father would love a child. I needed that so badly. And it's something I'm learning to understand. I will never get that. But there's different forms of love I could still be grateful for. My grandmother's love and aunt love and things like that. And as much as I crave, I still do. I'm not gonna lie, it still hurts to think that I will never have that relationship with my mother. But it's something I've not made peace with, but I'm working on making peace with and allowing myself to grieve when the emotion do come. When I see a mother-daughter bonding, or when hear people talk about their mother, is something I can feel sad about. I can still cry about it, but I have a father's love. Like I know what it means for God to love us. And God revealed to me that is enough. He is enough for me. And that hole I had in my heart that resulted in unhealthy tendency, God filled. Because like my whole faith walk, I would say I love God and I knew He loved me, but God had shown me to the extent of how much He loved me. And I had to feel it. I had to be engulfed in God's love so much that I can't doubt it anymore. That I can't try to find that love. I needed that unconditional love elsewhere. And throughout this season, when I felt like I didn't have anyone, when I felt utterly alone, I felt like I couldn't go to anyone, when my heart was breaking every time I would step out of my house, when the enemy was attacking my mind, telling me lies every single day, and I had to literally fight him. God was there with me, giving me the strength to fight his lies and giving me truth to counteract that. So it's like, as alone as I felt, as empty as I felt, God was there every single time. And I literally, like, I think this is the Holy Spirit. Not, thank you, Holy Spirit. And I'm like seeing in my, right now, this image of me laying in my bed, and it was late at night. It was like 10 p.m. And I'm in a fetal position. Okay, I have a teddy bear. His name is Charlie. Anyway, and I'm literally hugging him tightly and crying and asking God, when would this be over? When will I receive the love that I deserve? And in that moment, it makes no sense. So, oh, it don't make sense. But I felt this sense of lightness. Like I could breathe again. I don't want to say it was peace because I was still crying and it was still, there was still pain there. But I felt a sense of peace. a little bit. It sounds crazy just trying to say it out loud, but I did it, and it just felt like God had me in that moment. And every day since that, God has been giving me little signs. Even it would be like the most random day, hour, I would get a text from someone that I don't even talk to like that. Or sometimes it was like my little cousins. They would text me and like, I love you, or hey, how are you, or little things, or hey, this is what I'm doing. And I saw like little reminders, like God's like, no, there are people who love you. There are people who care for you. You're not alone. You're not, I didn't forsake you or anything like that. It's just, it would just bring a smile to my face, and I'll cry every time because I just, in that season, I needed little signs to keep going, if that makes sense. I needed that push. And just to say all that is like, don't ask God to take the pain away. Ask Him to give you the strength to endure it, to overcome it, and allow it to produce a new version of yourself. Because even in that, I had identity issues. I was struggling to know who I was. I didn't know who Val was. I felt I felt like a shell of myself. I was walking around and I felt like a zombie. I was interacting with people and smiling in their faces, and it's like, but inside, I'm like, who is this? I was questioning my bubbly and you know me, you know I have a sense of bubbly personality. I do. I get hyper. I'm just energized. But I was questioning like, am I doing that to please people, or is that who I am? Am I doing that to draw people to me? Is this a people pleasing personality trait, or is that really who I am? Do I really have a big heart? Do I always want to give, or am I giving to please people or to get something back? It was a back and forth where it's like, now this is revealed to me. I have all these issues, but now it's like, is it, am I who I am because of my mess? Am I who I am because of the things I'm struggling with? Was I doing certain things for people? And it took other people speaking life into me, reminding me, not telling me, but reminding me of who I really am, who God made me to be, for me to really let it click. Because I was trying, in my head, I was trying to say, I don't want to be bubbly Val anymore. She's annoying. She does too much. That's not who I am. So I'm gonna be a Debbie Downer. And I didn't like that. I really didn't. Like, being moody, depressed all the time it's weird. Pretending not to like people. Well, honestly, if I don't like someone, I don't even pretend very well. You can tell. But still, it's like, that's not me. I'm a happy person. Seeing other people smile makes me smile. And that's something I had to be reminded of from people. God to tell me, no, like, genuinely, that is who you are. Hearing people say, because of your personality, seeing you smile makes me smile. And it's like, whoa. I was about one, that's not me. That's Jesus doing his work. But that's amazing that my personality or my presence couldn't make someone's day. And that just shows that's not me again. That's like who God has made me to be a light in someone's life. I don't want to be a darkness. I don't want to bring people down. I don't want to do that. So being reminded of like that was amazing. In the season, I was questioning my place at my current church. There were Sundays or days I was fighting to come to church. I was. And I told someone this already. Where the one place that I love coming to, the enemy distorted it to be something bad. Like, I love coming to church. I love seeing people. I love being in the house, and I love hope. I love um their members. I I do. And in that season, the enemy distorted it because I felt like people were like, the enemy was planting these seeds, like people were talking about me. They don't want to be around you. You're you're this and that because you have these ugly things in you. They won't hang out with you. You're not meant to be in that house. And I'm not happy to say this or proud to say this, but I was honestly having a conversation or an actual battle with the enemy out loud. Like I was hearing these thoughts, and as much as I didn't want to believe it, but it was so hard. But I kept pushing. I still showed up. And granted, I didn't show up the best version of myself, but my way of beating the voices was me showing up in spite of what these thoughts were telling me. That was the little win for me, because if I had stopped coming all together, I don't know what the heck I would be, or who I would be. But my safe space turned into a place that brought me anxiety, and I was stressed. And a place I once loved in that season became a place I dreaded coming to, and that's how my thoughts were just distorted. And it just shows, like, mind you, I'm reading my Bible during this whole season. I'm not trying to say, oh, yeah, I wasn't like in the song. I wasn't cooked where I wasn't reading my Bible, wasn't praying or anything like that. But I was just fighting so much. I had so much weight, and I felt like I didn't deserve to go through this, in a sense. It's like, God, like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm praying, I'm reading your word and things like that, but I'm still fighting these things. I expected it's like once God revealed what I needed to work through, or the struggles I'm having, and I'm like, okay, I'm doing the thing. I'm praying to you, God. I'm praying for you to heal these things and get rid of these things that don't belong. I needed to go away quickly. I expect an immediate healing. Don't get me wrong again. God can do an immaculate healing. He can take things away. I've experienced quick healing. But there's some problems, some root in our life that's gonna take time to get through. And for me, what I'm learning in this season, what has been revealed, is like, I need a process. I need to go through a process. I need to be okay with going through a process of healing things and being disciplined, even though I haven't gotten through it. And like, that was one of my words, like, discipline, because I'm not disciplined at all in anything. And I had to be disciplined and keep going, keep talking to God, even if my situation wasn't changing instantly. If I wasn't seeing a change within myself, that don't mean I stopped praying any less. That don't mean I stopped going to war with God or reading my word just because it's not happening quickly. Because for me, I would expect God to take these things away quickly. Like, God, I lay it all to you. I told you everything. I told you this ugly thing about me. I'm struggling with these things. So now I revealed it. I needed to go away quickly. That's not the case. I needed to keep working at being healed from this thing. I needed to keep doing the work. And that is something I've never really done. It's always like, this is what it is. And then boom, I expect it to go away. Like, ultimately, and then it comes back. And that's why I kept going through a cycle and cycle and cycle. But to cut the cycle, it's like, I have to fight every single day. Point blank period. That's just it. I still have these thoughts, but I have to be conscious enough and diligent enough to fight these negative thoughts. Like, I still get whisper where the enemy's like, you see that? You see them hanging out without you? It's because they don't love you. You see them chit-chatting on the side? It's because they don't love you. See, no one's talking to you, right? You see how that no one's talking to you? You try to check yourself and thinking they liked you, right? As weird as that sound, those are literal things I've heard in my head. And I have to be so quick to recognize it and so quick to rebuke it. As quick as it comes, I need to turn that thought into something positive. Oh, okay, so they're talking, but look up to the side. You can talk to that person. They're talking, but that don't mean you can't talk to someone else. The person you want to talk to, or the people you want to talk to, the people you think you should be talking to are not talking to you, but what is stopping you from talking to someone else? I had to literally switch my whole mindset around, and that's something I have to do every single day. And those are thoughts I just have to fight every single day, because the feeling of being rejected or feeling like you're abandoned is something I have to work through every single day, so it don't come back to make it a cycle. And it's not easy. There's still days I cry. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying this is like a quick healing, but it was a necessary revelation, if that makes any sense at all. But I feel like God is letting me speak about it. I feel like it's a little now, because now that I'm not feeling the weight of it, I'm not feeling like this is my burden to carry anymore. And I'm sort of coming out of the season. Like, I'm not in that dark place anymore. I don't feel like a shell of myself. Granted, I'm not the same Val I was. I feel a different version of myself, and I like her. I really do. She's fun. Um, it's like I was saying this out. I was talking to myself. Yes, I talk to myself, but in my head, I'm talking to God. Okay, we be having one-on-one conversations. Okay, I just be telling about my day. But I was explaining to God, like I was saying, like God, I feel like you have built this new version of myself, but it's like I'm still me. And the analogy I use was I feel like I'm a new car, a new year car. Because you know when you have the same car brand, or let's say you have a 2023 Honda Civic, and you go, it's the same car, but you get a 2025 or 2024. It's literally the same car. It does the same thing the other car did. It just has a little tweaks to it, like a bigger screen, or it moves a little better. The little ignition thingy does something thingy. You know, same car, same model, just a different year. And the way I was explaining it, I was like, I feel like I'm a new year car. I'm still me, but I like what you're doing in me. I like what you're revealing to me. And I feel like I'm getting on the other side, walking towards my healing, my full healing. And I did not want to talk about this because I feel uncomfortable. I don't even think this episode makes sense at all. But if it don't, you guys won't hear it. But if it do, you guys will hear it. But yeah, the whole purpose of this is just to say, go through the season, but surrender it to God, and don't give up just because it's taking long for you to get through something. Don't just quit because your healing does not look like or happen as quickly as you will like. And I want to quote Pastor Jerry, my young adults pastor, but I'm not gonna get it all right. He says this thing with time, appointed time, happen in time, on time. He says this on time thing, this thing with time, and it just makes sense because God timing and our timing just never makes sense at all. Like it makes zero sense because the times that I thought I would be somewhere else, God is like, no, honey, slow down. I need you here. I need you doing this so you can get to that. And patience is not my thing. I don't like being patient. I need it quick and I need it now. But I'm learning to be more patient. I'm learning to be more disciplined. I'm learning to actually surrender to God and just give it to Him. And it feels hard, but it feels like it's hard to do, but at the same time, it is easy because once I give God all my burdens, once I said, God, like I can't do this on my own, I can't do this within my own strength because I had zero. I had no strength. Once I said those words out loud, not just thought it became easier. Things started falling into place. The relationship I thought was burned, the people who I thought didn't love me, was still there. It's still there. So it's like sometimes I will try to rush my healing to just make it to the other side, just so I will have people there for me or helping me through it. God's like, just slow down and trust me. I will get through. Your father, the one who created you, who knows everything about you, will get you through this. It's not people, it's not man. Granted, I'm gonna use those people to give you strength to keep pushing, but ultimately it will be me to get you through this. And that was very humbling because I rely on people. I really do to like feed my spirit when it really should be God. But yeah, so if your season don't look like anything you've imagined, or a season looks slow or whatever it may be, just lean on God. Ultimately, seriously, lean on God. And there will be some times you will stumble because throughout the season, there were times where I stumbled and times I fell flat on my face and I got a bruise. But God was there to heal that bruise or put a little band-aid on it for the time being. And it was amazing. It was. Also, don't listen to the lie. I've been told that so many times. My reality and the lies I have created for myself are not actually the truth. So recognize the truth and what is happening and try to distinguish between the two. Know God's truth and what He's revealing to you in your life, and not just your thoughts, what your thoughts made you believe or made you see. So definitely know that. It just put on my mind to say that because that's something I had to do for myself, where I had to distinguish between my thoughts what I was thinking and seeing versus what was truly happening and moving according to the actual truth, like God's truth, in a sense. So yeah, I feel like I've been rambling for so long, but I really do hope this helps somebody. This helps you to not feel so alone. Because so many times we do feel alone going through isolating season, not separation. That's the word. Separation, isolation. Those are the two I struggle with. But yeah. Sometimes I feel alone. Sometimes I feel like we don't have anyone. Sometimes our emotions tells us we don't, or our thoughts tells us we don't. But if you truly lean on God, He will reveal the people you need to go to. And He will allow you to speak to people you need to speak to, and also the people who needs to speak to you will speak to you. They will talk to you, or you'll get little signs here and there. But just trust God, surrender it to Him, and endure the storm. Every aspect of the storm, every single part of it, endure and walk through it, and just do it with God. Honestly, I can't wait to continue to see what God does in my life and where He's taking me. Um, because I think the enemy big mad. I think whatever calling God has for my life makes him really upset that he does not want me to get there, and the man keep attacking me every single day. Like, give me a break, leave me alone. But that just to show God has something really big for my life, something I cannot even imagine or think or even wish for, that he does not want me to get there. So he's going to keep throwing distraction, things, lies, and just fighting me every which way. So that gives me hope to know that I'm on the right path and God got me, and I will see the rainbow at the end of this. And I'm going to cry, and that's okay. I'm going to grieve some things, and that's okay. I'm going to feel these things. That's okay. It's just how I deal with them and how my thought process works. So thank you for listening to me ramble on and on about my story and how God and how much I love God and how much He loves me, because He loves me so much. And I love Him so much. Let Him fill that hole in your heart. And I'll see you guys hopefully at the next episode. You guys have a great day.